my father died the very week we put out the Man with a Memory, my very first album. And I remember thinking, you know, what a bittersweet time this was. My biggest moment, having an album release. I was on the Grand Ole Opry that week, and he passed away, and it just kind of everything hit like a ton of bricks. So that album was something we were kind of starting to construct, and I went through a depression that lasted, you know, a couple of years, I think. But all those songs, there's a lot of God in there. There's a lot of, you know, a lot of sadness, a lot of heartbreak, and there's not a lot of playfulness. You know, what's a guy got to do? Maybe a little bit, and Don't Ruin It for the Rest of Us is another song in there to kind of have a little humor. But it was just a very deep, dark, heavy time for me right then. I had to have a lot of God and a lot of heaviness. There's a lot of sadness, and that album to me is one of my favorites, just because I think more than anything, if ever I could put my soul onto a record and say, like it or not, this is, you know, could be a 99-cent album, that's still me. That's my heart right there.
I can't imagine the difficulty, and you've spoken about this and where you were and the trouble that you got into yourself, that, you know, through addiction, and you've been very open about that. I cannot imagine having that, and it's just nonstop, song after song, and really not having the time to grieve. A lot of us turn to music for healing, and it seems like that was your path as well in trying to pull you out of this such a heartbreak and a darkness.
Yeah, and you know, and you know, fame and money will kind of give you a longer leash, you know, with you know, addiction. You know, you can be a little out of control for a lot longer, you know, when you have a little bit of money and everybody's afraid to tell you no, and you know, you got some fame, so people are kind of expecting you to be a little crazy, and so that's what happened. You know, the train got off the tracks and nobody really could do anything about it, and I wouldn't do anything about it. So, you know, I know it's the same old story with a lot of artists, a lot of people that struggle with addiction. It's kind of the same thing, but the music I made, you know, I remember making the Christmas album around the same time as I made Revelation. And anybody that has my Christmas album can probably hear this, but I cried through the whole thing. I mean, I'm singing songs about Christmas. They're supposed to be cheerful and joyful, and I'm out. It's almost like I cry through the entire album, you know. And I was crying. I was like away in a manger, and I would be bawling. Oh my God. And Brent Rowan again, who's producing, he's like, "Hey man, these are spiritual songs. You're in a place. A lot of this stuff feels imbalanced to you," and he said, "I just want to let you know we're making a really good record, so, you know, don't worry about that part." But, you know, we made a pretty good Christmas album, and we made a good album. That Revelation album was pretty good, but at the same time, you know, it was ripping my guts to pieces. And like I said, it got out of whack, and then nobody could do anything about it.